what they wanna hear. Dancing to the music, everything they bear. Rise up for partners, spin around and round. Put your arm akimbo, wind down to the ground. When you hear the music, you will ask for more. When you feel the rhythm, you will jump up on the floor. We got a time again. Everybody singing. Party time again. Hear the music playing. Got a time again. Everybody's dancing. Party time again. No time for romances. Oh yeah. Do it, y'all. That's right. Shake it, girl. Ladies here and there, dancing everywhere. The party's on.
Here with the Carver brothers, Norman and Nash. You guys did well the whole regatta. But Norman, you were dominant. You won every race, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, you have any words of advice for your younger brother?
Gain some weight.
So, what's next for you guys after this?
So we have a flight at 2 o'clock in like 4 hours to go back to Nassau, and then tomorrow we have a flight bright and early to go to Los Angeles for ILCA North Americans.
Wow.
And then after that we have Worlds in July. We're just doing North Americans as a test run because it's in the same venue.
That's good stuff, man. Well, good luck, both of you, and look forward to hearing from you guys. All right? All right, Josh, Keanu, you guys had a very impressive regatta, man. Start to finish, you guys have been dominant.
Yeah.
So we know what time it is.
Yeah, you know what time it is.
Well, tell us about the final race.
That final race was intense. We had a rough start. We got tangled with another boat, and Kayla was just ready to run, and we were able to get off on our own and able to come back and, I don't know, get the race.
All right, so drop the mic. Let Keanu talk for a minute.
Yeah, let you.
All right, yeah. When we get tangled up, I was like, we might as well just sail the race and pray to God we get something lucky. And we did. We went all the way left, catch the biggest chef I see yet, and just point straight to the buoy, and we cross them.
All right, now before you guys jump overboard, make sure you put my mic down.
Yep.
Salt Pond, Long Island, the 56th annual Salt Pond Regatta, well underway here for the final day of sailing. B-class action about to get on the line in a few minutes, and we're going to bring you that B-class sailing. We've had some other races already happening and finishing for today. I'm Dwight Hart, and joined by Captain Stafford Patterson, Captain Plug. He's known as Cap. Welcome back from lunch.
Yeah, I had a good lunch downstairs. A little bit of chit chat, not so much with the sailors, but with people visiting. And now we're getting ready for these 6 B-class boats to bring it in and see who will end up champion of the Long Island Regatta for 2025.
Yes, as you would have said, B-class, 6 boats registered. We've got Lady Sonia out of Exuma, Susan Chase, an old boy out of New Providence. We've also got Lonesome Dove sailing out of Abaco, Udiva sailing out of Miguana, I think, Inagua, one of the southern islands. Or even out of Nassau, because I think, is it Sheldon that sails Udiva?
I think so, yeah.
Yep, so maybe sailing out of Nassau, and then Ant's Nest sailing out of Acklands, I believe.
Yep.
And so your 6 boats. I believe we have a tight knot at the front as far as points between the Lonesome Dove and Susan Chase.
Yep, I had a look at the scoreboard during the lunch break, where we showing Susan Chase with 2 points because she has 2 victories. Lonesome Dove in second place points-wise with 4. She has 2 second places. And then for tied for third, we got Old Boy and
Lady Sonia.
Lady Sonia, both with 7 points. And then 5th and 6th are tied with 11 points, Antonis and Udiva.
All right, so let's see if we can mix up the salad bowl a little bit and figure out what has to happen for who to win. Well, obviously, Susan Chase comes in first. She wins the regatta overall. She comes in second. She wins the regatta overall. She comes in third. She still wins the regatta overall.
She's got to be 4th, and Lonesome Dove's got to do a win in order for Lonesome Dove to take the overall championship.
All right, so that is probably the only scenario where we could see a possible non-win for the Susan Chase.
That's correct, Dwight. Yep. She'd have to finish fourth or worse, and Lonesome Dove would have to finish first in order for her to flip around. Otherwise, we're probably going to end up with Chase taking the overall championship with Dove in second, assuming they have a good race.
Yes.
Anything can happen. We saw Woody K in the C race just passed there right off the start line. They had an issue. I saw some chit-chat on one of the social media platforms. Their anchor broke loose and had issues with the getting the mainsail up.
Yeah.
So it can happen. I mean, they were right there in second place in points in the C class, and now slipped back to I'm not sure what.
Right. I guess if we kind of go back to the scenarios with Susan Chase, if she does not finish, or if she comes in dead last, then Old Boy and Dove
Yep.
can probably move into, and Lady Sonia, of course.
Just got to see what kind of results we get at the end.
Yeah. So we have to. The race has to still be sailed, of course, and we won't do any additional speculating until we have this race underway. But we hope to get started very, very soon. I know there was some coverage from the regatta site that we were supposed to be looking at. Yep, and so let's see if we can run that clip. We have some dignitaries on the Regatta Park, including the Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister of the country, Honorable Philip Brave Davis. Today is his 74th birthday, and so celebrating it a little bit with the folks here in Long Island, along with the Deputy Prime Minister who's accompanying him. And so we have that entourage here on the park, and taking one of the photo bomb shots. Quick clip of him. I believe we have some more coming up somewhere else. And we have the Honorable Larry Cartwright, who's also coming to the broadcast booth, and maybe we can get him all mic'd up, talk a little bit about some of the scores and the official, unofficial results coming in. Captain Plug, I don't know if we have a specific sponsor for this particular race.
Yes, sir, we surely do. Let me get out my official little booklet here. Available for free from the race committee. It has all the information you need about the 56 Regatta. And looking at Saturday for the B class, we have the Click Cup race sponsored by Commonwealth Brewery. Series 3 race sponsored by Automotive and Industrial Distributors. So Click Cup race sponsored by Commonwealth Brewery, also sponsored by Automotive and Industrial Distributors. B class.
All right. And while that was happening on your screens, you can see some additional video. The Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister making their rounds, greet and meeting some of the sailors, the vendors, and sailing fans here at the Regatta Park. And I'm sure Long Islanders appreciate having the presence of the elected officials showing their support for this 56th annual Long Island Regatta.
The Prime Minister asked if Rafi was around. I assume he meant Rafi Cartwright, who has called the races right from this booth here in the past. No video, just looking out the window and everything. But I've not seen him this regatta. Have you?
No, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because you're right. Rafi, with that very, very distinct voice,
Yep.
was well known here for bringing the buoy-to-buoy call right from this desk that we're sitting at, but broadcasting it just to the Regatta Park.
Yeah, not nationally or internationally, or anything. Just PA system right here at the park. It was very cool to listen to Mr. Cartwright calling the races from here. I miss seeing him. Hope he's okay.
Yeah, not sure if he's ill or incapacitated in any way, and if he is ill, we wish you well, Rafi. I didn't hear any, but he said that he passed, so I'm assuming that he's still well and alive.
I also spoke to Minister of Works Clay Sweeting and needled him for why isn't his E-class boat Sugarloaf here. Said you can't go to them all. I go, no, I guess we all wish we could go to every regatta, but it's just too expensive.
Yes.
So he said he'll be at the he'll have the boat at the best of the best in the E-class Sugarloaf. The Sugarloaf actually won the E-class, the National Family Island Regatta in 2024. They were national champion last year. Brand new boat, right out of the box. And Finley McKinney from Eleuthera sailed it to a first place in a national championship there. Minister Worst Place Sweeting ownership of the boat.
Yes, well, we are going to see if we can encourage him to maybe get Sugarloaf down to Rollville for the Rollville Regatta. We'll see how that goes.
I did mention it to him and told him what a blast the Abaco crew had there last year, and he smiled and just said it costs money.
Now, I know that Captain Jean does not have her original skipper and crew in Long Island to sail because Pat Smith and some of the crew members went back to Exuma to take part in the Baratari Regatta, which is happening in Baratari at the moment. There was supposed to be a fill-in crew sailing here, but Captain Jean is still at anchor in the harbor, and the other 5 boats, 6 boats, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, we got 6 out there, I think.
6 boats are already out on the line. So does that mean Captain Jean is not going to sail?
Well,
Not sure.
Captain Jean's A-class, right?
Oh, sorry.
It
forgive
happens,
me.
man. It happens. No worries.
Yeah, block right now. I'm sitting there looking at it going, these guys are not going to be sailing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I am
They'll be a little
in the
early for
wrong
their start.
I'm in the wrong class. B class, 6 boats, and they're getting ready to go. Yep.
Yeah, originally the original score sheet, entry sheet had 7, but unfortunately Cobra scratched pretty much from the first day. They sank and weren't able to get her back into the action. So we're on 6 B-class boats, and the start line is first come, first served, whereas traditionally you pull a starting position lottery style. Now it's first come, first served. I think that's incentive for the crews to perhaps get out there a little closer to the official start time. So we still got a couple boats showing a little bit of sail, maneuvering to get their anchor dropped in the position they think is most favorable. The Lady Sonia, she's been starting from the far end of the line every day, and that's where they are today. Not a bad position, really. We've seen Buzzy take off from there and get good starts. Unfortunately, the end results in his regatta haven't been too hot, but it happens to the best of us.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Buzzy would like to improve on his previous finishes in the B class. I think he's gotten himself a 3rd and a 4th, I believe, over the last 2 days.
Yep. So he's tied for 3rd with Old Boy.
7 points. And so he's definitely going to want him to come out on top of Old Boy. I guess that's his immediate target. And if he can take down Susan Chase and the Dove in the same fashion or at the same time, then all the better for him. But we'll see.
Yep.
This race is 1:30, 1 o'clock actual schedule start. So we're about an hour and 10 minutes at the moment behind time. We started off pretty good this morning and was hopeful that we would remain on a tight schedule. Not to be at the moment. So we'll see what happens at the end of B and how quickly we can pivot to getting the A class up and out of the way so that we can all get ready for the award ceremony later this evening.
And the race to get your boat de-rigged and on the barge. So,
stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
yep.
We've got some comments on our YouTube chat. Terrence Gibson, Udiva home base is Landrell Point, Crooked Island. First and only sloop from Crooked Island. Thank you very much for that, Old T. Darvel is saying no sound. Well, I'm not sure how he could say no sound if Old T is responding to us. So
Yeah, I think Darryl might need to adjust his volume.
check your ears or check your volume, Darrell. Terrence Gibson, I'm getting sound, Darrell. Try refreshing or log off and back on. Yep, good advice. Winfred Deal, I got a hangover, Dwight. Oh boy. Martin Cooper, good afternoon to all. Watching again from Hobie Sound, Florida.
Martin, how's it going?
Continue to watch and send your comments, and we'll try our best to get them back to you.
We'll give you a shout out.
Yep, Bernadette Hall chiming in again. Lonesome Dove, bring it on home, guys.
Okay, that's a quick shot from the boat cam with Susan Chase. I still see her anchor on deck, so Stefan maneuvering, try to get optimum starting position. So I'm not seeing a windward marker at the moment. So race committee still working perhaps on getting the race course set while those last couple boats find the right spot to drop their anchor. You heard us talk about anchors pulling loose. A couple things I'd like to mention about that. A lot of the bottom in Salt Pond Harbor is silty, and these boats are using the old traditional 5-prong grapple anchor. Very versatile anchor, but in silt sometimes it doesn't really hold so well. You start pulling on it, you want to get a good anchor pull, and you pull it out of the ground, lose your forward momentum, and possibly ruin your start.
Yep.
There are also spots out here in Salt Pond Harbor where it's rocky bottom with turbot holes and stuff like that. And the rules, the Long Island Sailing Club rules do actually allow you to, if your anchor gets hooked in one of those rocky bottom turbot holes, the rules do allow you to drop your rope and leave your anchor for retrieval later. Let me see if I can find that in the rule book.
That did come up for discussion earlier, and we were talking about whether you would be penalized if you left your anchor behind.
You would be penalized. My understanding was that you'd be penalized if the race committee went there and retrieved your anchor and it was not hooked. Like you dropped it to save a little bit of time.
Right. And they discovered it wasn't hooked.
They discovered it wasn't hooked, and that would be a penalty. I'm looking in the starting times. A moment here. On the start line.
All right, and just a little update on the race course. The windward marker has been significantly moved from where it was for the C-Class. It's now directly in front of us here, almost out to the little rock.
It's way out there. I see it now.
And that tells me that the start line is probably some distance further to the west as well. And whether they will sail a triangular course. I see the check mark that we've been using earlier for the E-Class is now moved towards the center, and so there may be a check jibe mark, Captain Patterson. And while you continue to search for that rule, I will go back to some of the comments. Davil is back on, so he's saying thanks. Well, you have to thank OLT for that assistance. Martin Cooper, it's going well, Stafford. And Winfred Deal, they need to go back to pick numbers for positions because great skippers can get out on the line first every time. Daniel, Denzel, Deals, Beach. Yeah, all right. Well, sometimes you need to change it up a bit just to incentivize guys to get to the line on time, Daniel, and I believe that's one of the reasons for dropping the positions, because if you had a pick position, unless you come up with some penalty for not getting to the line on a specific time and you lose your position,
It has to be a solution.
it's got to be something.
Has to be a solution to the trying to keep the regattas on schedule. Quite often, there's no reason why crews can't transition from one class to the next, and even taking into consideration the fact that you need time to get something to eat and drink.
Well, I could tell you, I heard the half-hour gun go, and I saw some crews literally not moving an inch.
Not
like they were just, and they were not eating, they were not drinking, they were just sitting in conversation and whatever. So yeah.
I've read the rules. They're fairly brief, but I do not see a specific mention of the anchor hooked in the bottom scenario. I can assure you that it was in the rules. I'm going to ask Chester when I see him later on, just so that I know moving forward. But so I know of a team that I'm not going to name that a while back utilized that rule and would drop the anchor rope even if it wasn't hooked.
Right.
And because it saves you 5 seconds getting the anchor on board and everything.
Right.
And they got caught, and the race committee said very politely, don't do that again, fellas. And so I don't see it in the rule book, but I'm pretty sure they do make allowances that if it's genuinely hooked in one of those turbot holes and the race committee retrieves it for you, then there's no penalty assessed.
Right.
In the meantime, you just hope that when you put your anchor down the bottom, that it holds in that silty bottom and that it breaks free at the time you want it to.
Yeah. All right, drone flyby of our regatta site. Thank Carson for that. And as you can see, beautiful shot. Not as filled as yet, but as the day goes on, the sun starts to go down. We expect this regatta park to be completely filled. I can tell you last night, that area there, the volleyball court, the bandstand,
rocking, eh?
Oh yeah.
Long Island Association done an awesome job of lining up top-notch entertainment for each night's enjoyment by the crowds.
And going back to our boat cam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boats. Number 6 should be getting into position now. It looks like Susan Chase, I believe. Or Lonesome Dove, one of the two. Sorry, not Old Boys, what I wanted to say. Okay. And we're just getting a heads up that we may get a chance to show our faces to our listeners. Captain Plug.
Oh, okay.
Got the drone coming in for a close-up. Hey, and I can see Captain Plug there. I can see. There we are.
Hey, guys and gals. Thanks for tuning in.
That's
Keep watching.
Captain Plug without
me,
the hair. I'm the one with the hair.
I'm on the left, the bald-headed one. That's right. Thanks for the drone shot there, Carson. And we're back to the dock cam with Chuck. Boat's getting into the final position for the start.
Yeah, I believe that was Old Boy still trying to get set. And looks like we're going to have a good boat cam view of the start. And so if we can keep this camera online for the start.
Great close-up of your diva there.
Absolutely.
Right next to her aunt's
Lady
nest.
Sonia.
I'm sorry,
Lady
Lady
Sonia.
Sonia, 24, yep. Oh boy.
Lonesome Dove. Aunt's Nest behind Lady Sonia. In between Lady Sonia and Old Boy. So that's Susan Chase that we've been patiently waiting for.
Just backing down in now. These boats in the foreground, I'm just looking at the angle of their anchor ropes, and it's indicative of a long anchor rope. See how much rope the guys have out. The more rope you have to pull in, the more out of breath your crew is when you finally get the anchor in. Of course, you still got to raise your sails and get out on the pry. But having an extra 50 feet of rope can sometimes put you a boat length ahead of everybody else out into the clean air.
Mm-hmm.
Spectator boats make a little bit of wake in front of the fleet. Not being able to see the other buoy, but I'd say they're probably still waiting on Susan Chase to drift back. And almost looks like Lonesome Dove needs to drop back a little bit. Need to be able to see the other red float on the far end of the line. Lady Sonia right down there on the far end.
All right, a couple more comments. Let's go Abaco, and this is coming in from Bells. Let's go Abaco. Good luck, and thank you guys for your amazing job commentating. And the live footage has been amazing. Big Red sending some love. And
hey, Red.
Santonio McPhee out of Rollville. Dwight, a special thank you to you and Captain Patterson for the superb coverage over the past 4 days. Thanks, Antonio. It's my #1 tidal wave fan out of Exuma. And we've got the start.
Here we go. Heave ho, let's hoist and go.
All right, and there's your diva. Lady Sonia, Aunt's Nest with a quick up of the sail.
Very quick.
Old boy
Old
doing
boy
his own.
starting. Guys on the anchor rope, they're doing their best not to let it turn into a wet noodle. You want to be able to, all three of them want to be able to put pressure on the rope.
All right, Lady Sonia. Sail now going up. You can see number
Great
4.
anchor pull. Great anchor pull from
Lady Sonia.
Lady
Getting
Sonia there.
out
Absolutely.
front of everybody else.
Up with the main. A few more pulls on that halyard.
All right, and let's see. I hope they're all clear.
Skipper veers off. Old boy pulling out in front a little bit of those 3 boats. 2 more boats behind them. Number 18, Lonesome Dove. You can see the number on their sail there.
And to the top of her, number 4, Susan Chase.
Susan Chase. Clean start, no tangle ups. And there's the fleet, all on starboard tack, heading over the left side of the course. So far today, it seems the middle has been favored. We'll see how far over they go before they start tacking back.
Christy Avery watching from Michigan. Next best thing to be in there. Enjoy this B-class race, Christy.
Okay, we got, is that a boat? No, I thought they were going to tack.
It looks like one was threatening to attack, and I believe they are thinking about it. Looks like the Dove, maybe.
That's the Dove. Maybe just getting a couple of good puffs of air and letting her walk.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to attack just yet.
Well, they really don't have a lane there. They got 2-3 boats there that they'd have to duck or cut, and
Old boy and Lady Sonia.
yeah, that can slow you down. So they'll just hold for right now.
So the 6 boats, all on the same lay at the moment.
Your diva guy, mainsail guide, trimming.
And nobody has dared to go back as yet.
Tide has gone out some since this morning, so shallow water even more consideration. Deeper draft boat, lower tide. Most of these skippers know where not to go.
Yeah, that's a beautiful shot, and I believe the Dove, it looks like they keep threatening to attack. They haven't, but Ansness has certainly done so. She's decided to get out of the daily air business and go look for some fresh breeze. It's going to end up being at the back of the fleet, but she's going on port.
Great boat cam shot of Ansness there.
Going across the back of all the other boats.
I see 1 or 2 small white caps, so I'd say the wind velocity is, probably looking at 10 to 12 knots. The white caps start at about 12 knots. Great sailing conditions out there today. I don't think I see any large sails. Some are pretty close. Susan Chase definitely got on a big sail, but I think they still got a little bit more room at the top of the mast. Lonesome Dove definitely has room at the top of the mast. So they're going to continue to make their way on starboard tack up in towards the shore here by the Harbor Club. Of course, the closer they get in with this onshore breeze means less breeze because of the landmass there and the hills. Come in too far, you're going to lose that good wind and speed. And Stefan on Susan Chase.
Lady
Followed by
Sonia.
Sonia. Sonia's tacking over.
Yep.
Fuzzy said he had enough of that.
And I think Susan Chase has also come back and having to
duck
under.
Lonesome Dove.
Yep, Lonesome Dove.
Nice and clean there.
Probably having to do the same thing to Old Boy. I believe that Lonesome Dove is. And Lonesome Dove now on a port tack as well.
Old Boy is going to cut Lonesome Dove, I think.
Yep.
Lonesome Dove on port. They'll be disadvantaged. Yep, Old Boy's got him there. However, young Joey Gale has decided to go up the middle with several of the other boats. Ducking a little bit. Barman giving instructions.
Great shot from the boat cam of Lady Sonia.
Buzzy'd like nothing better to pull off a win here today.
You better believe it.
Okay, so I think we're all on one more boat to
Dove
tack
has
over.
lost a man. Man overboard from the Dove.
Oh no.
Sail going
sail
down. Oh my God.
That's
Gracious.
not going to be good. Yep, rules require that you lower your sail. If you get outside assistance, looks like somebody's going to pick him up in a speedboat.
Yep.
So Lonesome Dove has required by the rules to drop their sail, which they are doing. Meanwhile, that crew person being picked up still is going to take, oh my gosh.
Wow.
And meanwhile, the old boy coming up to windward of him.
We know what happens if you have one of these types of mishap in a race this close.
No room for mistakes.
None
right?
whatsoever. And Dove, similarly to Whitty K earlier, Whitty K earlier today in the C class, being in a close second place, losing it all because of a bad start.
Yep.
And so now the Dove has got a lot of work to do.
Shot from the drone. Need to get going real quick. Dove is a fast boat. She points well. If they can keep all the crew on, maybe they can get back in there. Good shot from the drone there of Udiva. Crew looking ahead. See how much distance they got to improve their position. Where the rest of the fleet is. Bowman on his knees there. Having a good look. Feeding information to the skipper. So, see if we can identify the side of your screen, which I think might possibly be the leader.
Lady Sonia, I believe.
Well, well, well.
And so, pulling up some comments. Brian Knowles is watching from Florida. Great work, guys. Deborah Patterson, oh no.
My
Let's
wife.
go Buzzy. Jason Jarrett Ware.
So we got Lady Sonia, Susan Chase, oh boy, up there coming up the middle. And again, we got that windward marker's been moved way offshore. So kind of hard to judge from here, but several of the boats may very well be on ley line, port tack ley line to the windward marker. I assume it'll be a port rounding, what we've been doing all day. Lady Sonia a little below Susan Chase, but out front pretty good. And as we expected, a much larger spectator fleet this afternoon.
Yeah, and only going to get even larger as we get into this A-class race coming up later this afternoon. And so the boat's making their way up the harbor. It's taking them a while to get to our vantage point because I believe the start line was extended further to the west or northwest to accommodate the buoy, the windward mark being just directly in front of the broadcast booth and the regatta pavilion. And,
Boat cam shot of old boy. Working to keep the boat balanced. Heeling just so, not too flat. Takes a little puff of wind. You see one of the crewmen sliding out on the pry, now sliding back in. Don't want the boat too flat or heeled over too much. Skipper Roger Fox looking over his shoulder briefly. slicing through those waves. Thank goodness nowhere near as rough as Wednesday and Thursday.
Absolutely. And there's a shot there of Lady Sonia and Susan Chase barreling down the harbor.
Yeah, that crewman in the water has caused a lonesome dove big time. They're in the tail end of the field, 6th position behind you, Diva. Not sure how many laps race committee's going to throw in for this B-class race today.
Be hard to recover.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to recover, absolutely. And I know these boats are bigger, but you know what? I'm looking at the flagpole here, and I'm looking at the sea conditions, and I'm looking at the way the boats are responding out there. I think we've had the wind just drop off a little bit, not flat calm, but flag's not moving too much. So it's going to be interesting to see how sail selection works out.
Yeah. Well, we have Ant's Nest now on her starboard tack, making her way back towards the center and the windward mark, but she is a ways out there, and by the time she makes that mark, I believe all the other boats may be around. Susan Chase now coming back on her starboard tack.
Yep, she'll make the marker, no problem.
And all things being equal, I believe Susan Chase.
There's the Chase.
Is going to go around that mark in first place. And there's a view from the boat cam.
And the crew up front getting ready to bring that jib over, wing on wing, get the whisker pole out. Whoops, he lost it. I'll get it back.
It looks like Stefan has given up the tiller once again.
Oh boy.
To his trainee.
Well, nothing like on-the-job training, Dwight, you know. It's the way to do it. Oh boy, coming in a little wide around the marker, but I think they've got a cushion. They should be able to hold on to second place. Stefan's only 15 seconds or so ahead of him.
Yep, there's Scott Harding, Bowman, Roger Fox on the tiller.
Now we'll look for our third place boat. A couple coming in from the right side.
Well, I'll tell you, the Dove, even though she had that serious mishap, it looks like Ant's Nest has either run aground or something.
Yeah.
I believe she may have run aground.
Yeah, that's not a
She
natural
is
heel.
Stuck. And they're trying to heave that boat off. And boy, let me tell you, we talked about the dangers of sailing that far out.
Yep, we did mention it.
In the harbor.
There's Lonesome Dove.
On her.
Are they going to be the third place boat?
Yeah, it looks like they are in third place.
Holy smoke.
Even with the mishap, she seems to have maintained third place just in front of Lady Sonia.
Lady Sonia clearing the marker in fourth. How about that Lonesome Dove? What a comeback. Here's Lady Sonia, number 24. Following right behind 18, Lonesome Dove. Buzzy gonna see if he can duck beneath Lonesome Dove. Got a good head of speed going. Dove puts on a little burst of speed herself. And wow, third and fourth heading down to the leeward marker.
I'll tell you, if the Dove is able to hold on to that position, she would have saved the day.
I'll tell you, that's commendable to come back from that. I know they lost a minute of time getting that crew person back on board. Meanwhile, Udiva coming around nice and smooth, trimming the sail, ease out.
Ant's Nest seems to have freed herself from the sandbar that she may have been stuck on.
Guarantee you they won't go over that way next time.
Yeah, kudos to Lonesome Dove. Kudos, getting that boat back in the race.
That's the never give up attitude that those guys have.
Absolutely.
Seen them display it over and over again.
And if she is able to hold on to her third place, she will still maintain her second place overall in the B class, which would be
Excellent observation.
a commendable.
They would be
commendable-
extremely happy with that, I think.
You know, this reminds me a little bit of the race in the National Family Island Regatta we witnessed earlier in April with the tidal wave sail getting ripped. But those guys with a half of a sail literally didn't give up and still sailed that boat, I think, to a third place finish.
Third place. I mean, they were almost in second. They just lost it right at the finish line there. But yeah, that's that
Don't
never
give it
give up attitude. Just take what you got and go with it. And Lonesome Dove certainly doing that today.
Deal with the circumstances. And
There you're going to have to work to hold off Lady Sonia there on the left of your screen. Because Buzzy, he knows all the tricks.
yep.
But this configuration does give Lonesome Dove the inside line, getting to the leeward marker.
Absolutely.
Should they be able to hold the position with Sonia?
And clear win all the way.
Wing on wing. Small jib on these boats, large mainsail, small jib. But the jib in particular helps get the boat to go to windward. So when you're running downwind, you want to just get it out there in clear air and just let it act like a parachute sort of thing. Just catch the wind and help to push you along with the main. Good trim has the boom and the whisker pole holding the jib in a straight line together. If the whisker pole's too far forward or too far back, you're not utilizing the optimum shape of your jib. You want to keep your crew steady on the downwind. You don't want the boat rocking, either from crew movement or from puffs of wind. When you see them rock back and forth, they're not doing it today because the winds have decreased, but the last few days on the downwinds in particular, the smaller boats have been rocking back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
So looking pretty steady today, which is good, keeps the speed up.
All right, got a couple more comments coming in. Nor let the dove out of the ark. What does that mean? Reggie McKenzie watching from Rollville. Thank you guys, enjoying. Great work, guys. Well, Cap, I've been able to look again at the numbers as it relates to points. And Dove came into this particular race with 4 points. And she's currently sailing in the third position, which would give her 3 points.
Yep, if she finished there, it'd be a
If she
total of
finishes
7.
there at 7, all of the other boats that are below her have 7 or more. So that would easily mean that she would maintain her second place.
Yep.
My calculation is that she would have to drop down to at least 6th place in order to not claim the second place.
Second
overall.
place behind Susan Chase. Gotcha.
So I think that there should be some comfort in those guys. They probably were not going to get, well, could not get first place overall.
It would have been very difficult.
Yeah, considering that Susan Chase was already out of the box very early.
Yeah, they'd have had to break something pretty much.
A DNF. That, could have been a disaster with the man overboard, but thankfully they were able to recover fairly quickly and get that boat back up and running, and still are able to currently be in third place and probably hunting down some more as this race goes on.
Well, young Joey Gale there on the tiller, Jeff Gale's son, doing an excellent job. He started in the junior sailing program and has been pretty active. And he's got a couple of coaches on board helping him out too, people that are a lot more experienced on the Lonesome Dove than he is. So they're working good as a team, I think, right now.
Good stuff. Well, Susan Chase sailing all by herself at the moment. Familiar position. Stefan has turned in his traditional red cap for a red shirt and his dad's good luck straw cap. And seems to be working in his favor. He's so confident that he's given up the tiller to one of his younger skippers, and right now working the main sheet and jib lines, ensure that the boat sails are properly trimmed. And to your right, a whole bunch of spectator boats accompanying Susan Chase as she is sailing for a almost confirmed first place overall in this regatta. She would have been, by statistics, the best boat, having claimed, if this win holds, 2 guns in addition to a couple of seconds.
So there's a great shot from the drone. You can see the leeward marker there, right in the center of your screen. Susan Chase bearing down on it, and immediately behind her is the Oh Boy. A little bit of space between the two of them, so shouldn't be any problems rounding the marker. And third and fourth, right together there, Lonesome Dove, Abaco, and Lady Sonia out of Exuma. See how it works out for the two of those. Lonesome Dove on the inside line right now, which is favored. But we've often seen the boat immediately behind do the crossover maneuver and cut right behind the stern and pull up to windward. So we'll see how that works out for those two boats there. Meanwhile, Chase going to come in wide and then tighten up and just leave a couple inches between his prize and that leeward marker. Don't want any contact. It's a 1-point penalty. He's given it plenty of room. And Susan Chase clear the leeward marker, and that lap complete. Oh boy, taking a similar course. And you start to bring it in there. You want to time it just right so that you can pull right up into the wind as you round the marker. And they're giving it a wide berth as well. Hey, a little extra room. Let's not get a penalty we don't need, boys. And off she goes in hunt of Susan Chase.
Next up is going to be the Lonesome Dove, followed very closely by Lady Sonia. Lonesome Dove recovering from a man overboard scenario on the first downwind mark or upwind mark. Able to recover, get the man back on, follow the rules to the T, lowering the sails.
Yep.
Recovered from that and have maintained a third place position.
Dove
Barring
coming
that
in.
accident, Captain Plug, she may have been further up ahead.
Who knows what would have happened. Dove coming in a little tighter, perhaps a little early, but looks like she'll be able to hold Lady Sonia. I know Buzzy would like to punch the bow up into the wind and get above them with a burst of speed, but don't think it's going to happen this time. Might be to windward a little bit. And Dove's keeping the speed up, so they're going to
Chase each other for a little bit.
There will be some chasing going on there, yep. Okay, Buzzy says enough of that. I don't want your dirty air. I'm going to tack over and go the other way. See if Dove chooses to cover or if they continue on behind 1 and 2.
I believe the Dove is probably aware of her position and just trying to ensure that there's no more men overboard.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's not have any extra tacks, boys.
Really?
I know there's 1 or 2 of the crew there that like to run the numbers in their heads continuously in the final race. So,
They may
good
be
point.
well-
They may
well
very
aware.
well be doing that.
Yep. If you can't get first, secure your second. And so from our dark cam, you can see to the far right, Susan Chase almost going out of sight. Old boy coming back on a port tack already. Maybe trying to goad Stefan a little bit into tacking early or earlier than necessary. But Stefan is going to take it straight up to the land and just work the very, very middle of the course because the mark is basically on a straight line from the point he's almost at the moment.
Yeah, when he tacks over, he should be pretty close to a straight ley line right to the marker, which we assume will be left to port. If they're going to finish, they'll come in this way. Race committee doesn't have a finish line set up yet, so when we know, we'll let you know.
Brentford deal. The tidal wave and new legend have an infraction during the sail got tore scenario, but didn't get any points taken off. Clarification, please. Mr. Deal, if I could say so, Captain Plug and I are only commentators.
Not only that, you'd have to ask the Exuma race committee about that.
That's where I'm going to try to direct him. Go to the National Family Island Regatta Committee. Dallas Knowles, the Commodore, I'm sure will be more than happy to answer that question. Lorenzo, good afternoon, guys. Checking in late, but I'm here. The Chase putting it on them. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, hey Lorenzo. Currently Lonesome Dove in 3rd place. Had a man overboard earlier.
And your brother is asking me not to say anything about a man overboard again to put him out on Lonesome Dove. All right, from the Facebook chat, Andre Rollins is back. Come on, Chase, let's do this. Yeah, okay. Chase is doing it, Ms. Rollins. She's doing it.
So several of the boats choosing to come right in close to that rock there, which probably has a name, but I don't have a chart in front of me. In too close and it gets shallow real quick. Rocky shallow. Whereas over on the other side where Ant's Nest apparently ran aground earlier, it's just silty. And so no damage would happen over there. Rocks, you don't want to put one of these boats on the rocks.
All right, from the dock cam, distant view of the sailboat making their way back.
So this final B-class race this afternoon, again on sponsors. It's the Click Cup race, sponsored by Commonwealth Brewery. Series 3 race, sponsored by Automotive and Industrial Distributors. Thank you very much for your sponsorship. And folks, when you're going shopping for parts, go to AID. And I guess if you want some beer, get Click.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a sizable squall over there to the west between Long Island and Great Exuma here.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have to worry about it here, but just looking in the background there and then looking out the window, it's pretty good size summer afternoon thunder boomer.
Yeah, thankfully we have had pretty fair weather here in Salt Pond. No issues with rain or winds that were unsaleable.
And one other thing, I almost hate to mention it, but I haven't felt a single bug. You know, Long Island can be buggy sometimes, right?
Yeah, I am. At the place that I'm staying in, Grays, the second night, Thursday night, I think it was, there were a few mosquitoes out, just a few,
Yeah.
nothing to talk about.
Good, good.
So happy to have escaped the bug season. This year, and you know, normally with the rain you get the bugs, and so because we've not had rain, no bugs.
All right, 3 of the boats there, working their way up the middle of this course. I'm sure one of them is Susan Chase. And of course, Old Boy, Lonesome Dove, Lady Sonia. Not so easy to determine if any positions have changed since they cleared the leeward marker and started back upwind for the second time. So we'll just keep watching and looking and
Waiting.
just waiting and see how it comes out. Sonia tacked out early and is heading way over to past the middle of the course over to the right side. I'm sure they're aware that Ant's Nest, hit bottom over there on the first lap, so they're going to be mindful of that. They will have to come back. Whether it's going to be on ley line to the marker or not remains to be seen.
Yeah, it would be wise of them to maybe come back on the starboard line prior to getting to the point of making the mark, and then do
just
another
short tack,
yeah.
short tack around the mark. Yep. Well, we'll see what Captain Buzzy elects to do.
And you can see from that shot how far out he is. He's way past almost that little.
That would be Susan Chase on the right side of your screen. Lady Sonia way out there. They're still making pretty good speed.
Coming back now in the starboard tack, I believe, or maybe my camera angle is just a little off. Nope, still
going.
Still on the. Still on a port tack.
Yeah, that background sky doesn't look quite so gloomy. Get some blue sky there.
From that angle.
Contrasting aquamarine, beautiful Bahamian water.
I don't know, Buzzy's going a bit far. Thought by now he would have started to come back, but maybe there's some marker out there as it relates to that little rock that he's familiar with. But getting almost into the same area that we are sure we saw Ants Nest come aground.
A fair amount of pressure on the sails there. Doesn't look too gusty. Susan Chase, number 4.
Dove.
Dove, number 18 below. So which boat is that off to the left?
Old boy.
Oh boy.
Seems
They are further out, but they are to leeward of Susan Chase. If they would attack back and come back now and starboard attack, would they cut Susan Chase? We don't know.
We don't know, but let me tell you, it's starting to look that way.
They, old boy seems to have found a little bit of speed there, Dwight.
Yeah. Well, we know that the chase went all the way down. It was the last one to come back on port. And it's possible she may have gone deeper than she needed to go.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
We'll see.
So old boy's looking okay right now. Again, she'd have to tack over and cross back on starboard for us to determine if she has cut Susan Chase. But we'll have to just watch and wait, and see what it looks like when that does happen. Unbelievable performance from the Abaco boys and the Lonesome Dove. I'm very impressed. They were able to keep cool, get that crew person back on board. They did have outside help. Somebody picked them up, a crew person in a speedboat, but rules require you to drop your sail, which they did immediately, and got the crew person back on, got going again, and great showing from them as we look at Susan Chase from the drone. And I think you said that was Christo on the tiller, Christo Cartwright.
So, that's the look of it, and
skipper from Lady Anne Marie in the E-class.
Yeah, here comes old boy.
Old boy coming back.
Starboard attack, and Susan Chase.
Wow.
Very tight to the line. I'm not sure she can make it from there, but
they're both bearing down on the windward marker.
And I'm going to share something with you, Captain Patterson, but I have to wait until these boats make their way around the mark. The math is now changed dramatically.
Yes, it would.
Because if old boy were to win this race, she would then have a total of 8 points by our calculation.
Yes. Yes.
And if Lonesome Dove, well, if Lonesome Dove still holds the position, she still have 7. So that may not matter. That may not matter.
Susan Chase, bowman, and looks like a young fellow right next to him. Eye on the prize, if you will, the windward marker, right there. So she ought to be tacking over pretty soon. You'll see the orders given. The crew guys slip in to the middle. They bring the prize in. It's a coordinated balancing act. Push the prize out the windward side and scramble out. Get the boat heeled over quickly. Just so. Get the jib trimmed down. Pretty smooth tack there from Susan Chase.
And they are going to be quickly followed by the Dove.
And here comes the Dove, full speed. Jib a little out of trim, a little flap there. They got it under control.
And I believe this finish line has been set.
I believe you're correct, Dwight. Certainly from the angle they're taking, it doesn't look like they're going downwind again.
Nope. And now a foot race to the finish with old boy sneaking in and
amazing job from old boy there.
taking first place. snapping the victory gun out of the arms of Susan Chase.
I think they were counting on 3 in a row there, but it's not to be, I don't think. And they might want to be careful that Dove doesn't overtake him.
Absolutely.
Dove's coming up with a good head of speed. Dash from the windward marker over to the finish line. Oh boy, pretty much have to break something or sink, heaven forbid, to not cross in first place. Hope the cannon guy is ready. It's always a disappointment if you're on a winning boat and you don't get that cannon shot.
Yeah.
The smack talkers downstairs are winding up, getting going.
And so, yeah, it looks like Old Boy has taken the lead. In
Yeah,
this big class and putting some distance.
Their windward strategy on that second upwind there certainly worked out in spades for them. They put pretty good distance on Susan Chase. I bet Stefan wasn't expecting that.
At all.
Should be a finish line right there. There's 2 speedboats, right center and center left. Old Boy heading right for the middle of the line.
So, Old Boy winning in this final B-class race. She's going to end up with a total of 8 points unofficially.
So the winner in the final B-class race of the 56th annual
there's the gun.
Long Island Sailing Regatta takes first place, and they got the cannon.
Susan Chase coming in second.
Able to hold off the Dove.
Yep. She will end up with a total of 4 points. Unofficially, the leader, Lonesome Dove, is going to end up in third place, but 7 points total combined, and that should get her to second place.
Second place overall.
And
well done to all teams.
Could have been a lot worse considering the man overboard situation. But again, congratulations to the crew out of Abaco.
Susan Chase, clear the finish in second.
Second place, yep.
So everybody else that crosses, you know you're finished because somebody in the committee boat blows a whistle. Not as much fun as getting a cannon shot. Lonesome Dove, cross the line in third. Looks like the 4th place boat will be Lady Sonia.
Yep. And she will be 4th overall because she was tied with Old Boy for 7 points, and
yep.
Old Boy has best her by 3 boats.
So in this 4-race regatta, 3 points race, 1 cup race, Susan Chase had 2 firsts, Lonesome Dove had a first, and now Old Boy gets a first. Lady Sonia coming in full speed, holding on to 4th position.
Looks like Udiva will come around in 5th. And Ansnes bringing up the rear. In this final B-class racing at the 56th annual Long Island Regatta. Captain Plug, I believe we can call it a day on the B-class racing.
Yes, sir, I think so.
Get refreshed and
let's get ready for the big boys later on this afternoon. Official start time is 4:30 for the A-class boats.
got an hour and a half to get ready and get back on the course.
We got an hour and a half for the guys to make the transition. So we watch Ants Nest coming around. Needing to trim the jib a little bit. There we go. Well, I think the party downstairs is starting to crank up a little bit. I know yesterday afternoon around this time they were doing tug of war down there.
Yeah.
Not sure if they're going to have any games this afternoon, although there is some onshore activities listed in the official guidebook here. Water balloon toss coming up at 3:30. Family Feud at 3 o'clock, which is right about now. 3 to 5 o'clock, we got the Originals, Rake and Scrape Band. They were down here yesterday, raking and scraping. Even though Mama said she didn't want none of that in here. Closing ceremony and presentation, 8 p.m. I see some of the bigwigs out of Nassau in town. I imagine we'll have a little bit of presentations from some of our politicians, followed by Commodore Chester Fox giving out the awards, trophies to the winners. And the live entertainment tonight at 9:30, Synergy Band, D-Mac, and Ebony 242. Quite a lineup of entertainment going on here in the final day and night of the 56th annual regatta.
All right, Captain Plug, there's a couple of comments I want to read.
Sure.
From Facebook, Melanie Fox. Captain Plug, no rain until this week. And so, I guess she wants to say this weekend, or this week coming in Saw Pond. The other settlement did get some here and there. Philip Victory, to your right, past the government dock, a Salt Pond Key, the furthest seaward. Cool Key, a very small sandy one, and Flat Key, the longer flat.
Flat Key.
The sandy key. So
okay.
That's to our right. And at the south end, there's Cracked Rock, which I assume is this little boy here.
Right.
Closest to shore and further out is the Lump. South of these,
I got
the Lump, the one with the house on it, and the largest is Eva's Key.
Eva's Key.
Which would be that one there.
Okay, well, thanks, folks, for the geography lesson. I'm going to file that away for future reference.
And sorry, Bad Eyes, not Cool Key, but Coil Key.
Coil, all right.
Coil Key. And Rachel Alexia is saying that's my brother. I guess we were talking about Crystal.
Okay.
On the Susan Chase. And
yep.
Way to go, Chris.